Hello everyone, welcome to Bonnie Carolee Makes Cards. Alex Syberia Design has a new release. It is absolutely gorgeous, but the one that I was immediately drawn to was sketched hibiscus. After watercoloring the first one, I just had to do another. I enlarged the second one for a close-up view. This is a benefit of digital images. Both panels are watercolored with Mission Gold using a wet on dry technique. The images were printed on Canson XL watercolor paper. I'll be painting with a Kazan round number 8 watercolor brush. Each flower petal is worked on individually, and I begin by applying a light coat of watered down vermilion. The excess moisture is removed from the brush by tapping it on the paper towel. I can then use my thirsty brush to lift off any pools of water that are sitting on the petal. This area is left to dry, which does not take very long. Applying wet paint to a dry surface allows the colors to be vivid and have some texture. This is referred to as wet on dry. 2 colors are used for each pair of flowers in both panels. Over the base of the vermilion, I am now applying permanent red. My brush is just wet enough so that I can pick up the color directly from the pan and apply it smoothly to the shadow areas. Vermilion red is applied again to soften the edges where the 2 colors meet. As I'm working, I'm constantly tapping off my water brush onto the paper towel to control the amount of moisture that is on it. After both colors have been applied to the flower petal, I go back in with a very clean brush, slightly damp, and I lift off color to accentuate the highlight areas. And that is the process that is used to paint each of the flower petals. So just to review, watered down vermilion is applied to the entire petal, and using a thirsty brush, the excess moisture is removed and it is left to dry. Working directly from the pan, the deeper tone, in this case the permanent red, is applied to the base of the petal. Taking clues from the image drawing, I paint in some vertical lines to give the flower petals some texture and depth. While the permanent red is still wet, I introduce the vermilion to help blend the colors together where they meet. A clean brush is used to lift off color to accentuate the highlight areas. For the yellow flowers, I used a combination of yellow light and yellow deep. For the other card, 1 pair of flowers was painted with Crimson Lake and Bright Opera, the other pair with Red Violet and Bright Clear Violet. When painting leaves, I like to use a variety of color. For the leaves in these cards, I use different combinations of cobalt blue, Van Dyke green, viridian, olive green, and sap green. On a number of the leaves, I use the sap green, which is a beautiful yellow green, to create highlights. For this card, I painted a very pale aqua wash in the background. The stamens were painted with yellow light and a little bit of yellow green. The illustration has several groupings of dot detail. They have been accented using gouache paint and a number 1 brush. Because gouache is an opaque paint, the watercolor does not bleed through. For both cards, black cardstock sized 4¼ inches by 5½ inches were mounted on A2 size card bases. Black sheet foam was attached to each of the floral bases before they were adhered to the card bases. I was almost tempted not to put any sentiments on these cards at all. In the end, I tried to choose ones that would not detract from the beautiful floral backgrounds. Simon Says Stamps Beautiful was die cut from vellum so that it wouldn't overpower the card. Although I wanted the softness of the vellum, it really wouldn't stand out from the background, so I die cut it 3 times and then had to find a way to stack it. The Xyron machine is perfect for this application. The thin, even layer of adhesive that is applied to the back creates a sticker effect. The sentiments were easily stacked, and there were no worries about imperfections from glue shining through. Even though it is a large sentiment, the vellum gives it a very soft appearance. For the second card, Simon Says Stamps Big Scripty Hugs was die cut from matte gold cardstock and black sheet foam. And that wraps up this pair of watercolor cards. I love having the ability to resize the images to create a slightly different look. Sketched Hibiscus is gorgeous, and you'll definitely want to paint it again. Be sure to check out all of the beautiful images in Alex Syberia Design's new release. As always, I appreciate your visit.